Hello and welcome to another video. Do you ever open an email and you're like, wow, this email is incredible? Well, that's not by accident. Today, we're gonna be going over email campaign design 101 so that you can create emails that don't just sit in inboxes, but actually convert. Also, shout out to Afro Samurai who gave me the suggestion in the comments for this email. And if you ever have requests for other videos, just let me know in the comments and I will put them on my list. So take a look at these different emails side by side. All right, that's enough. Design isn't just about making pretty emails. It's about making things easy to read, visually appealing, and most importantly, getting them to click. Emails with a clean layout and a strong visual hierarchy can actually boost your conversions by 60%. If your emails are cluttered looking, text heavy, etc., those will go straight to the archive and not be getting clicks. Rule number one, keep it simple. A minimalist kind of email design with clear sections. That doesn't mean that you can't be colorful and have popping text, because you should, but you want to have a very clean layout no matter what. The best emails are not overwhelming, so stick to one clear goal for every email. What does that mean? If we have a sale, all of your CTAs and everything in that email should be guiding them to click into that sale. However, if it's an email about new releases, that should be what all of our content is about and what our buttons and everything is guiding them to. If you have a sale in one part, new releases in the next, a giveaway in the next section, and a call out to engage with them on Instagram in another, there's a lot going on. And you're maybe not going to hit the goals that you want if you're kind of scattering everything and putting everything into this one email. So let's get into the anatomy of a high converting email. And as I always like to mention, I work in direct-to-consumer marketing, which means I sell physical products. However, a lot of this I think can be applied across other emails, but this definitely does have an emphasis on direct-to-consumer conversions because that is what I personally work in. Let's look at this, for instance. So for the header, you want strong and bold text that grabs the attention of the consumer very quickly. And I will usually try and have a button in the very top section. You'll have others throughout the body as well, but I always try and get a button in that top section if it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't, so that you have the most immediate way for them to click into your website as possible. For buttons, you really want them to stand out, so I usually try and make the buttons a different color than anything else in the email, just so that they aren't getting muddled in anything else in the email. And with that, I would say make it clear to them when they click that button of where they're going when they click it. So don't make the button copy too long or confusing. Make it very clear and to the point. But that goes a little bit more into copywriting, so I'm gonna just leave this video here because this is something that goes hand in hand with the design video that we're making right now. Along those lines, the body copy should be short and sweet. Maybe have bullet points or section breaks to keep it very digestible. So let's talk design best practices. Okay, so here's what will make an email pop without overwhelming the consumer. For fonts, stick to 1 to 2 fonts for the email. Don't ever have more fonts than that. Have 1 to 2. I usually stick with a certain header text, and maybe you bring that header text into the same sort of font that you use for the button, and then for the body copy or other smaller section headers, use a second font. Now for colors, you always want to use the brand's colors, obviously, but you want high contrast throughout the email. So light backgrounds with dark text or vice versa, and make sure that your different sections throughout the email feel very much their own standalone thing, and you can do that partially through your color usage. For images, you always want to use high quality visuals. Never, ever, ever use anything pixelated. I'm sure you know this in 2025, but you want very crisp images. However, compress the images as much as you can, because with all email files, we want them to be as lightweight as possible so they load really quickly in people's inboxes. The last thing is white space. You need to give all the elements throughout the email, whether it's the text or the buttons, you need everything to have breathing room. The worst thing I see all the time with email campaigns that are designed badly is that they are crammed together and that there's not enough white space for these elements to breathe and have the consumer feel, at ease and excited as they go through the email instead of stressed and bogged down. Now, a really important thing to mention here as well is mobile versus desktop. Over 60% of emails now are read and opened on mobile. If your design isn't set up to adapt, you're losing so many clicks and you're leaving so much money on the table. So here's how to optimize for mobile. I always use Klaviyo in my kind of ways to describe setup. Obviously, there's so many different email platforms, but if you take Klaviyo, there's a thing that you can toggle at the top to plug in a desktop version and a mobile version. What I usually do is I design my whole email for desktop, get it approved by the client, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll create my mobile optimized version, which really basically is just larger text because that often is way too small on phones. I would have much larger buttons because that's the same sort of thing. And the last one is if you have product blocks featured in the email, those often don't translate super well to mobile on the desktop version. So I would also make sure that those are optimized for mobile. And if you skip that step, it is not good. I see so many people thinking like, oh, this could be good enough for mobile. But with email, everything is fast, clickable, skimmable. Get them to the endpoint as fast as possible. And if you create any friction along that way, once again, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So always optimize for mobile. So these are the basics of direct-to-consumer campaign content design, graphic design. I wanted to just create a very simple overview because I think even though a lot of these points seem similar, they're also points that a lot of people don't implement correctly. And we can go more in depth in future emails of other sort of design things. I have been requested in the past to kind of go through an email design and just audit it live. I'm happy to do that. But in terms of this video, that is everything automatically that I would suggest for graphic design for campaigns with an emphasis on direct-to-consumer marketing. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I love you so much. As always, please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And let me know if you have any video suggestions or just want to say hi in the comments. That would make me so happy. And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.